Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Brianna here with another installment of our Insider Perspective interview series. Nurse Deck is proud to be built by nurses for nurses, and we aim to provide a collaborative social space for nurses across all levels where we share resources, guides, camaraderie, humor, work life, sanity savers. And today we are joined by Andrea Jaramillo. Andrea is a champion for underserved populations. Her work and research has focused on improving women's health, immigration rights and healthcare access, and health literacy. She is a founding member of SONSIL. Is that how you say it? The acronym?
SONSIL. Yep.
SONSIL, which is the Society of Nurse Scientists, Entrepreneurs, and Leaders. And she is she is passionate about empowering bedside caregivers through nurse-led innovation. Andrea is both a certified forest therapy guide and also volunteers as a nurse farmer, which I'm so excited to I'm fascinated already. And she is currently working out of Boston as a hospice nurse, clinical research nurse, and a clinical nurse consultant. So lots of good stuff to talk about this morning with you, Andrea. I like to always start from the beginning. How did you get your start in nursing?
Thank you, Brianna. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, of course.
Nursing for me wasn't a thought I had when I was growing up. I didn't know any nurses. I am from Ecuador, and I just did not know any nurses. So when I moved to the States, one of my first volunteer activities was as an interpreter at the NIH. And there I really saw how nurses were amazing. Not only that, but the role of research and nursing. And I was so interested in how they led the interactions with the patients, how they really made a difference in the lives of people. So I was like, okay, I need to learn more about nurses, and my path just started that way. And here I am. Now I'm a nurse.
I love that. Tell us more. I know you currently work as a hospice nurse. We have a lot of nursing students that are in our community. So we always like to have everybody describe their role and kind of what your day-to-day is like. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes. So for me, first of all, transitions have been like the main thing of being a nurse. I think we are experts in transitions. I used to be a labor and delivery nurse, and now I'm a hospice nurse, one end and the other end.
Right.
But they are very similar in a lot of ways. But, I think kind of hospice found me. I think when you sometimes feel you have a gift, you have to give it. So I left the bedside for a while, and at one point I was thinking, I wanted to rediscover nursing for myself, and for me, seeing patients, it's very important. So I found this job in this amazing organization that I respect very much, because they grow very responsibly. They take care of their nurses. They do very good patient nurse ratios, are very aware and vocal about it. It's a nonprofit and one of the first hospice organizations actually the first hospice organization in the Boston area. So that being said, I found this very good place to work. So I don't know if every place is this way, but my day, I am per diem, so I have full control of when I work, how I do it, when I do it. And that really gives me a lot of strength to continue doing this work. I think in a lot of times as nurses, we feel we don't have control of time and schedules and life. This particular job to me gives me that. So that's, starting from the get-go. Then the other beautiful thing is I go to patients' homes. So that was a big different change, because the power dynamics are so different. You are a guest in someone's home, and I am wearing my clothes. I don't wear scrubs. We are very equal, and conversations happen in very, horizontal ways. And I'm there to really provide support and comfort. And to me, that's the best job. I don't have to tell them what to do. They kind of tell me what they need, and
Yes.
I try to make my best to provide that.
Yeah.
I listen a lot. It's a lot of listening. A lot of wisdom comes from end of life. People. One of the things people regret a lot that I listen to is working too much, for example,
Sure.
not being with family as much, not traveling. Just things that, for me, it makes me be present,
Yeah.
in my practice
Yeah.
in a way that I have not been present in the past.
Yeah. I could see that.
So I love it. The team is wonderful. I work in a multicultural team. That's one of the innovations of this organization. So we try to match patient with the nurse and the culture and the language.
Yeah.
So the experience is very holistic in that sense, and we talk about those needs with our leaders and our patients, and I think it does make a difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So my day to day is I wake up, I get a list of patients. I will, learn about them, see where they live, map my route, call them and say, okay, approximately this is the time I'll be around there. I go see my first patient. Sometimes I write my note right away. Sometimes I do it a little later. Sometimes I get to drink my coffee, which I used to not be able to do it.
Right.
Maybe make a call, go to the next patient. So there is a good amount of time for me to resettle,
Yes.
kind of ground myself between visits,
Right. Yeah.
which compared to my other, nursing jobs, it was very much you didn't have time.
Exactly. Right.
So if hospice is calling you, and if there is any nurse out there that thinks I will give it a try, I will definitely say, come, follow a nurse, talk to someone. This is a very amazing job.
Yeah.
I truly think it's amazing.
Yeah, and I loved what you said about the organization you work for being very respectful of the nurse's role, which speaks to the professionalism that we have, but often we don't feel treated that way. We just feel expendable. So I love that there are these unicorn organizations out there for nurses to even just to know that they exist and not to settle if you're in a role where you don't feel that type of support. So that's
Definitely.
great.
Yes, we need to model more this type of organization.
Exactly. They can exist and the patients do better. I mean, it's really,
Yeah.
Another role that you have is as a clinical research nurse. And I know for many nurses searching for alternative nurse roles right now. Tell us a little bit more about the work that you're doing there, the
Yes.
aims of your research.
So, I think we have many dimensions as humans, and caring bedside nursing for me is one important, but also being, motivated and be thinking about more academic stuff. How do we do this with evidence? What's our scientific methodology as nurses? So from that perspective, I started working in this hospital that it's really great for research. It's one of the best hospitals for that, and really learning the methodology. So what I do there as a research nurse, there is many roles, many hats that you have to have, and many skills you develop, which is if you're someone who is, learn fast and you want to, challenge yourself and just be on, learning new things all the time, this will be the role for you.
Yeah.
So sometimes, depending on the type of project that is available, I might have one role or another. but I could do some things administrative, that it's like setting up the trial. Sometimes we work with sponsors who tell us, this is the protocol, and we see how we can implement this in our facility. Or sometimes there is like a nurse scientist or a doctor who both can be principal investigators.
Right.
So we help them set their project in the facility. So it could be either way. Then we have either medical devices, therapeutics, or quality improvement projects, or any type of change that needs data collection. We could work with that, and really find a way to measure things, measure outcomes, and create databases that will be helpful for us to have evidence for the future. And then create things. So it depends, sometimes it would be a project that I need to learn all about it. I am like, I've never heard of this medicine, or I never thought about this process, or so it's a lot of unknowns. So if that excites you, that's the job for you. But it keeps your mind working and keeps you at the edge of the future, which is really awesome, because it's like, okay, this was not a thing in the past, and now we have the evidence and it's working. Or maybe it's not working, so let's just not do it anymore. So I think every nurse, it's capable of bringing evidence and publishing something and making our body of knowledge bigger. Exactly. Every nurse that you do not need a PhD to do it. You do not need a master. Every nurse has the basic skills to do something. And if you have a good mentor, they can grow you in the right direction to really contribute to our profession. So I think that's something it's needed. We need to prepare ourselves to do it and not be afraid.
Right. I think nurses are born problem solvers. The best nurses that I worked with will figure out a way to make something work if it doesn't work in the traditional way or the way you've always done it. So I think we're such a natural fit for research, because we tend to be, if we're not too overworked, curious, and always interested in what the next thing is coming up. Like you said, it puts you in the future of nursing, which I love that.
Absolutely.
We need more nurses that are forward thinking right now, because I know so many nurses feel stuck and exhausted.
And we need to, like you said, sometimes we're overworked. So thinking of doing extra or something different, sometimes we can't even see it. If we are in that moment that I think we all have been at some point in our careers, I think carving those spaces for nurses to have the time to grow in these places, it makes it more sustainable as well. Like if you see doctors, their model of care, some of them do only clinical, but some of them are able to carve these spaces, where they do a little bit of research, a little bit of teaching, a little bit of clinical work, and makes it a little bit, it does make it more sustainable.
Keep the passion alive.
Yes.
Date nights for your career. We're going to switch gears a little bit. I know you work as a certified forest therapy guide, which honestly sounds like my dream job. More about that, what it accomplishes, who it's for, how you got into it.
So, COVID happened. I needed a space to heal, and I was looking, Facebook pops things up, and I found this organization called the Association of Nature and Forest Therapy Guides and Programs. So ANFT, that's the organization. And they offer these trainings and give you a certification on this training that really comes from, in Japan, when the whole technology boom happened, they started seeing that their people were stressed, higher levels of cancer, higher levels of all these diseases, chronic diseases. So they put a lot of money in researching therapies.
Yeah.
One of them was nature-based therapies.
I love it.
So if you see, there is, there is evidence about being in nature and how does that impact our well-being. And there is some experiments that are so interesting that might need to be replicated, but still, it's interesting. It's very, if you're curious about it, because for example, they've seen saliva cortisol levels being reduced in these type of experiments, heart rate levels, blood pressure levels. They have done double-blind studies where they are able to walk people in the city versus walk people in the forest. What's happening?
Yeah, right.
They have observed NK cells levels increase for longer times after walks. So NK cells, what do? They eat cancer bad cells, right? They protect us about that. So all these mechanisms that the body already knows how to do, they are still in the process of experimenting. They found these hormones called pheноcytes that the trees kind of excrete.
Oh, wow.
So all these things that we are very unknown to us, and for sure we need to research them more. But there is something that nature has a healing potential, or at least a wellness potential. If we're not healing, at least we are maintaining ourselves. It's sometimes healing, it's a tricky word to use, but it does, there is, from my experience, no pill that will give you the same result as walking on a beautiful day in a beautiful forest. I mean, it's true. It's experiential. It's my opinion for sure. But if anybody that experiences can really connect to it. So there is a whole, the program, there is different things we call invitations, so people can do these type of like exercises. The best way they do is non-judgmental. It's really very informed, for any we are not therapists. That's the other thing. We don't, it's therapy because it's therapeutic, but we are not therapists, we're guides. And the beauty of that is we really open doors for people to interact safely with nature.
Interesting.
So we are not there healing nothing, it's just helping people interact with these natural processes, healing sometimes in community, sharing stories. Sometimes it's different things, and it's the creativity of the guide, and we are guided by nature. So sometimes we catch invitations, the wind is happening and we're just observing the wind, things like that. It really makes you slow down, be present, and be with yourself.
It sounds like a very meditative therapy.
You could call it that way.
In the present moment, which I think some people might take it for granted, just going for a walk in the woods. But when you really think about all the things you were saying, like almost the biofeedback that you get it's incredible. That's so interesting. Say the name of the association again for people that.
It's Association of Nature and Forest Therapy Guides and Programs. And the short name is ANFT. You can find it online. Totally recommend it. If you have questions, let me know. Anybody happy to talk about it. You can, it and it's also a type of, you can make it a business. You can start, your own programs, create things. So I think it's a good opportunity for nurses. We're well positioned to be doing something like this.
Yeah, amazing. I love it. I know you lead a workshop at Harvard Medical called Mindmaps. Is that right? Or
So
having to do with mind map concepts?
yeah, so I'm a co-teacher there.
Okay.
So, and actually, it's my husband and I. We are
Oh,
doing it
fun.
together, so it's really fun.
Yeah.
It happens once a year
Mm-hmm.
in this big class workshop that they have for medical education.
Mm-hmm.
So we use you can use different softwares that are available for free online, but the concept of using the mind map, it's really interesting because it starts from a central idea,
Mm-hmm.
and then it grows kind of circular.
Mm-hmm.
And what it kind of mimics the way we learn and how our neurons work. So the
Yeah.
neuron is a circle and kind of
Right,
connects with
right, right.
other things. So there is a lot of theory behind it. There is a guy, I forget his name at this moment, but I can send it to you. He wrote some books about it and the theory behind it. How does this make you learn better,
Right.
simplify ideas,
Yes.
use graphs, make it fun?
Right.
Our textbooks are so linear
Yeah,
and in a
exactly.
way boring.
Yeah.
you know that having one image that tells the story and you
Right.
can remember and connect,
Yes.
it's very easy and beautiful.
Yeah.
So this particular workshop is geared towards medical educators, nursing education,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of the skill that's taught.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. So I'm picturing more, like you said, instead of opening up a textbook and seeing paragraph after paragraph of small font that you immediately are reaching for your coffee, it's more graphics and you're looking at one central picture and kind of taking it all in together. That's so
Yes,
interesting
yes.
for
So,
people to learn.
like when
Yeah.
I was studying nursing, I will learn, for example, the heart, and we will learn all the
Yeah.
diseases of the heart. And so I will have a picture of the heart in the center,
Mm-hmm.
like the different diseases, and you organize it. There is a
Yeah.
methodical way of organizing the
Sure.
information that makes sense.
Yes.
So
Right.
the recalling of it
Right.
later on, it's
Yes.
very visual,
Right.
very, and you know where it is in your
Yeah.
head.
Yeah.
So
That's
it,
so
it
interesting.
it helps a lot of people, a lot of students.
Right. Yeah. Very interesting. Very cool. We're going to switch gears a little bit now and just talk about nursing in general, and especially societal view of nursing. In the scope of the pandemic, I think everyone was lauded as heroes and almost, which kind of put us at a distance, you could argue, and it isolated people, I think, feeling that way. And here we are 2 years later, still hard at work, hard at work. And I wonder if you think the views of society viewing nursing has changed, if it's affected you personally.
Yeah, that's a good question. Has it changed? I think we're in constant change,
Yeah.
which is it's a good thing. Are we where we want to be? Maybe not yet. I think even though there is male nurses in our profession, which
Mm-hmm.
is great to diversify us, I think the way that nursing is viewed is very much a mirror of women in our societies,
Yes.
to be honest, which we need a lot of work, I think, from
Yeah.
my personal opinion, just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Um, have I felt, yeah, I think a lot of things we feel is our worth is in a lot of ways questioned
Mm-hmm.
as nurses,
Right.
by our peers and by society.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Many times by our own peers, which it's unfortunate sometimes. I think
Yeah.
we all come to this profession for caring, for love and compassion, and unfortunately we need to heal as
Mm-hmm.
as we're wounded
Right.
healers,
Yes.
which makes sometimes toxic environments, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And the need of feeling worthy. feeling that our work is worth of ourselves. So I think something that I've worked very hard is to really see the worth of it, myself,
Right.
To be in these places where we can share our voices like we are doing it today. This brings it value, this brings it pride.
Yeah.
I am very proud of what I do. And it took me some time to feel this way, to be honest. It wasn't something that I woke up and be like, oh, I'm a proud nurse. No.
Right.
I felt the feels.
Yeah.
But now I see the potential.
Yeah.
I see the strength. I see the bad things too, and not to make that something. I see the needs, but I see so much potential and goodness that I'm very proud to be a nurse, and that brings me the worthiness that I need to feel.
Yeah, that's such a good way of putting it. Do you feel like we were speaking about earlier, the organization that you work for, your hospice organization, do you feel that their mirroring of your worth back to you helps you to feel that pride?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think my family makes me feel very, they feel proud. I feel proud.
Yeah.
My community, they feel proud. I feel proud.
Yeah.
Having a voice, and using it and not being afraid, makes me proud.
Yeah. It's such an interesting, almost it leads into my next question, which dealing with burnout in nursing. I mean, I can't even ask, do you think it's a widespread phenomenon? Because it's, I think, well established at this point, and we're even beyond burnout.
Yes.
I mean, burnout, it insinuates that it's going to end or that it's transient. And right now it's just our state that we exist in, or many or most nurses that are bedside nurses right now are existing in. And it's so interesting to be in an environment where you feel supported and having that be the treatment that we need to start healing, individually and collectively as a profession. Tell us about how you've experienced burnout in your career and how have you handled it? How do you prevent it now?
I think burnout is not, and like you say, it's not a new thing. It's exacerbated, but it's not a new thing. The first time I felt burnout was as a nursing assistant, which we don't talk enough about it. If you were someone who experienced that, having 30 patients in one night is not the way to do it, And that voice is definitely not heard. So that was the first time I experienced burnout, to the point that I even questioned going to nursing school.
Yeah, of course.
Because I was a nursing assistant before. But I, was able to manage it and be like, okay, maybe as a nurse it's going to be better, Right. Yeah. And then, as a nursing student, we feel some kind of burnout, I think, the anxiety, the loss of control, the not knowing, the sometimes supported, sometimes lack of support. I think that's maybe the first burnout that our profession feels.
Yeah,
right.
A good point.
After that, your first clinicals, your first clinical experience, your first job, where you're the new person and you're excited, and again you start feeling this lack of control in your life, in your schedule. You might not know exactly what type of boundaries to put. I think that's important. You're still working on your assertiveness, like saying, no, I cannot take another patient, or no, I need to eat.
Right. Yes.
Or how about I need to pee? I mean, basic needs that, maybe one day, if it's one time and it's crazy, it wouldn't be as hard, you know, but it's a chronic process.
Yes.
It's not like one day you don't have one nurse and the team comes together and we make it work. If it was that, I think we could handle it.
Yes, exactly.
It's a chronic thing that happens on a daily basis and you don't see the end of it.
Yes.
So you're like, I cannot stand this for so many more years.
Yes.
Right. That's one type of burnout. The other one is, how do I grow in this career? Do I see myself doing the same thing for 30 years?
Yeah.
I mean, after 2 years that you're a little more, adept in your work, you feel more comfortable. You're like, oh, where should I go? What should I do?
Yes.
So finding this ladder, or even if it's not like ladder, or like maybe horizontally, like finding a skills, kind of like, and that's kind of how I've done it, diversify what I do, so I can do everything that I want to do, So I think those have been the burnout experiences I've had, just really unsustainable environments, and the lack of really clarity of where to grow and how to do it and when to do it. We have these very antiquated theories of nursing that once you have 5 years, you're worth of something better. And in essence, we're people. Each person, it's different, brings different experiences, growth in different rates. Yes, we should have a base of how people grow, but we need to see every individual as they are individuals, and tailor their growth as their needs, and some people might want to be in one position for who knows what, and that's what makes them comfortable, happy, and that's okay too, so support that, support whatever it's needed. Some nurses never want to be a charge nurse, some nurses never want to teach anything because their heart is somewhere else, and that's okay, so find those paths, and supports. I think it's important.
Right. I mean, it's such a good point about how nursing offers you so many different things if you follow your curiosity. And I'm still thinking about a point you made earlier about how nursing sometimes can mirror womanhood, and being a nursing student in the beginning, where you feel pressure, like you said, to make those boundaries kind of loose, and you want to be a yes person and a good team player, and it ends up, you won't ever get out of the starting gate because you're just burnt out before you've even begun. But I've never thought about it that way. I'm going to be thinking about this for the rest of the day, I can tell.
I like that. Yeah.
I hope that in curriculum now, nursing students are being taught, as much as the clinical skills, the people management skills too, and how to say no. I mean, it can be an art form, but it's so important to learn that from early on, to preserve yourself.
Yeah.
Do you have any other messages or tips for nurses that are burnt out or searching for ways to reconnect with their passion?
Yes. First of all, if there is a nurse that is burned out, my heart goes to you, because it's one of the most painful things we can go through. I think we are very we identify with what we do a lot.
Yes.
It's for a lot of us, nursing is a way of life.
Yes.
When we say I am a nurse, we assert ourselves as that.
Yes, it's never I work as a nurse. It's
exactly. I am a nurse. So when your system, your everything is telling you that this is not worthy, you feel not worthy, and that's very painful.
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, I want to acknowledge that. Second of all, I want to say there is ways, to help yourselves. It's not easy. Systems are not yet there to allow us to do it. But if you take the chance of like experimenting and carving what you want and you need, sometimes it work out for me. It might not work for everyone, but I think trying things, trying, going and doing things that you think, oh, a nurse would be great here. Like, I go to a farm,
Right.
and I'm a nurse. I because I'm the farmer in this nurse.
Yeah.
I'm the nurse in this farm. And it's just, how do we carve those things? I think asking is important. Ask your employer, you know what? If I don't do this, I might need to stop doing this, So can I have flexibility on going to this other job I need? Hey, if you always wanted to be a barista and that's your dream,
Right.
do it one day a week.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
You dream to be an Uber driver at one point. I see, like whatever takes your mind away from it.
Right.
You
Right.
wanted to be an artist, do art, sell your art,
Yeah.
become that, experiment. It's okay to fail. It's okay. You want to open a business?
Right.
Do it.
Yes. You just have to redefine the definition of success is doing the activity, not the outcome of the activity. But
yes,
we're so productivity obsessed in this country that it's like,
yes, and that's a good point too. I was, something I learned in farming is that we cannot be summer all the time.
Right.
Summer means we produce, but then winter comes.
Yes.
And winter means we rest.
Yeah. Right.
So if we follow the natural laws, and what nature is teaching us, we're doing it all wrong. Right. We're gonna burn out. If you plant and plant and plant, that soil is not gonna work.
Yeah.
Like nature is giving us the answer.
Yes. I agree. Yeah.
So, I always say honor your winters because that's when transformation happens.
Love that. Yeah. It's very true. It's so hard for so many people, but
and the system doesn't give us the chance to
to
honor, winter meaning our internal winter.
Of course, yeah.
But I think that's the way to be sustainable. Nature teaches how to be sustainable.
Absolutely.
Now, is our economical system gonna allow us to do that?
Right.
Is it, maybe the system does see the benefit eventually in the long term. We need to see long term.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I think the solution should come from.
Right. I think a buzzier word, people might know it as self-care.
Self-care. Yes.
It can be experienced through self-care, which
and self-compassion.
Yes. Right.
Today I was posting, I was like, radical self-compassion. You're really asserting that.
Yes, right. You have to be aggressive about taking it back for yourself.
Yes.
We're really big also on community and the power of community to heal, whether that's belly to belly communities or in our space virtual. What do you think about nurses and how they can benefit from communities like Nurse Tech?
Yes. So one of the things that happens when you are burnt out, you disconnect.
Yes.
You numb out because you don't want to feel the pain.
Right.
So part of this connection is disconnecting from community.
Yeah.
So our reaction is to disconnect, not engage, go do something else. I think the medicine is making yourself connect, engage, finding the support, asking for support.
Yes.
Saying, hey guys, I am really not feeling it today. Please, I need a hug today. Sometimes you do.
Yeah.
Um, and connecting, sharing stories, because
Exactly.
what you feel, I probably feel,
Yes.
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 So the trauma that we experience collectively,
yeah,
it's really healed in community,
mm-hmm.
And our systems tell us that we heal individually.
Right.
Our system is made for you to, it's your problem, it's your fault, right. You are sick, your decision.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right.
When we live we live collectively. What I do, it's gonna impact what other nurses and other people do.
Exactly.
So why do we not heal in community?
Yeah.
So these spaces, are allowing to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, we see it all the time with our social page that we have, our social community that we have. We have little offshoot groups, and just you can feel the relief through people's words of just being in a place where people get you, and you don't have to run through the disclaimers before you get to the meat of what you're feeling. It's a cool thing to witness and be a part of, for sure. We would love to have you over there if you're not already on our social pages. We're just starting out, and it's been really cool to watch it develop and explode.
I want to know how to get into this part of the social, like when does it happen? That would be amazing.
We have you can go through nursedeck.com. There's lots of mentions of it and links to follow, or you can just go to the social.nursedeck.com, and that will take you right there. And it's a credentialed page, so you have to provide your license to, it's encrypted and safe, but so that that you're with your people.
Sounds good. Yes.
There's nobody that's going to be trolling you on there. No bots.
Great.
Well, this has been an amazing conversation. I feel like I'm not at the bedside, but I always feel so much more connected to my fellow nurses after conversations like this. Is there anything else that you wanted to mention that we didn't cover? Or if you have any messages for nurses out there, we always love to talk about
it. Thank you, Brianna. Thank you for making this space available. I think we need more of this. You're doing an amazing work, and I want to really encourage that more. Tell nurses to put their voices out. We do have a voice. So use it. Write about it. Paint about it.
Yes.
Yes. Make a poem about it. Yes. Sing it. Whatever way it feels right to you. Exactly. It's the right way, and we should be able to hold that.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you for that.
Perfect place to end. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Brianna.
It's been a pleasure. I have a lot of family in Boston, so I know you guys are freezing up there right now.
We are freezing. So if you ever come to visit, you have to have a coffee with me.
Oh, I would love that.
Yes.
I would love that. Yeah.
And any nurse, I'm always happy to help any nurse. We help each other. Awesome. A lot of nurses help me.
Yeah.
In a lot of points in my life. So we have to give back.
Yes.
So anybody need to reach out, I'm here.
Great. So nice to meet you. And
thank you
for your time.
My pleasure. Have a good rest of your day.
You too. Take care.